Along the shores of the Mediterranean, from Marseille to Menton in southern France, where rocky mountains rise from the sea and verdant sloping hills and valleys stretch away to the north, with beautiful scenery and brilliant sunshine, are the quiet retreats, fashionable resorts, and quaint towns which draw to this coast more visitors than to any other resort area in Europe. Among the haunts of the pleasure seekers is Saint-Tropez, a quiet village, the inhabitants of which for many centuries earned their livelihood by fishing, and in more recent times, partly by cork trading and serving summer travelers. Into the small harbor of the picturesque town sail many yachts and cruisers from larger resorts nearby, tying up to the quays, where, in brief costume, vacationists and tourists wander about, sit at sidewalk cafes, or purchase curios and trinkets from numerous small shops which cater to strangers. The little harbor is occasionally visited by a submarine from the great naval base at Toulon, reminding the inhabitants of France's vigilance along her Mediterranean shores. East of Saint-Tropez are the resorts most frequented by Americans and English. Saint-Raphael, a modest town on the Gulf of Frejus, is a year-round rendezvous, popular with foreigners in winter and with the French in summer. Another all-year playground where the millionaire with a yacht and the tourist with a modest income mingle is Cannes, one of the oldest and most aristocratic resorts of the Riviera. The modern city is built along the crescent-shaped beach, with villas and hotels extending into the low surrounding hills. Its streets are always full of activity. Its beaches, in spring, summer, and fall, crowded with bathers and holiday makers. The favorite resort of Americans along the Riviera is Juan-les-Pins, a suburb of Antibes on the Gulf Juan. Its name is derived from the grove of fragrant Riviera pines that overlooks the small but popular beach, crowded during the season with a majority of strangers. On the Cape of Antibes is the exclusive Eden Rock Pavilion and Club, where the elite and others swim in the deep water of the sea, bathe in the pools, or bask upon the rocks in the brilliant sunshine. Life along the Riviera is not confined solely to seashore activity. Brief excursions into the nearby hills or Maritime Alps reveal many scenic areas, garden districts, and quaint towns which charm and please. Of the numerous ancient fortified hill towns, Bio is one of the quaintest. The 1,000-year-old village rises above the vineyards which contribute largely to the livelihood of the inhabitants. All of the streets are narrow and winding, most of them leading up in steps to the small central square on the summit of the hill. Among the many excursions popular with visitors from the coast resorts is a motor trip through the rocky ravines of the Gorge du Loup. Not many miles after leaving the sea, the road enters the gorge and follows first the left and then the right bank of the river, and at places is cut into and tunneled through the limestone cliffs, which reach a height of 1,300 feet. At the eastern end of the French Riviera, the mountains ascend precipitously from the sea, and upon them have been built many of the villas and homes for which the south of France is famous. Here, too, are numerous old and picturesque villages which delight the stranger and linger long in memories of travel. Villefranche, situated on a splendid, well-protected bay, is typical of the old and often historic towns of the coast. Its pink and white houses rise tier upon tier above the calm Mediterranean waters. In the harbor, United States naval vessels sometimes anchor, and the American bluejacket often gets his first glimpse of hospitable France in this picturesque old town of the south. Beyond Villefranche, where the Maritime Alps have their rocky bases at the water's edge, have been built 3 world-famous roads: the Petite, the Moyenne, and the Grande Corniches. The Grande, the uppermost of the 3, was built by Napoleon and follows the top of the mountains from Nice to Menton. The Petite, the lowest, skirts the shore beneath the cliffs. The Moyenne winds along the rock facades between the other 2. All 3 of the roads are famed for their beauty, but it is the Moyenne and Grande which offer the most majestic vistas, and on them at intervals the traveler may relax in a restaurant or cafe perched upon a towering promontory, and look down upon verdant hills and valleys, peninsulas and bays of the Côte d'Azur, the blue or azure coast of France.
Bye.